Did you see the news? Hamilton's dad is actually proposing a new series called V10 Racing, and it's hybrid V10s.
I'm waiting. I really think that it's like now the drivers make enough money for them to be like, all right, we're gonna start our own. Like,
100%.
Eventually. So like, yes, before they were getting like nothing, crumbs. Now they're actual superstars. So I think they can definitely throw some.
So his dad's getting investment from his son to start this. And for the way I see it, this is an acquisition play. I've been in the startup game way too long to not know what this is.
You're right.
His dad is basically saying, I'm going to start a new series. I'm going to generate the excitement. I'm going to create the prototypes. I'm going to get the investors. And then Formula One is like, wait, what are you building over there for? Come here. We'll give you a place in the F1 leadership. And then we'll move forward with the V10 racing.
All right, we are back for another episode of the Money Shift podcast. And today we've got a special guest. If you've been checking in on our X live streams or spaces, we've been joined by a guest who's, I'll say, a recent addition to our community here at Driven Labo, and somebody we've really connected with, super hit it off, because as you'll see, we share a lot of the same passions. So I'm excited to bring up our guest for this week, as well as our co-hosts. We have got Humpty OX, that's his name on X and Instagram. And we have also got our co-hosts, Slava and Mr. Iron Maiden. So yeah, excited to dig in a little bit more on, honestly, your personal story, being a creator, being in the car scene, getting into crypto, all of this, as well as kind of your take on the current state of the SoCal car culture. So I think there's a lot that we can talk about. Every time we get together, we honestly have no problem just jumping from topic to topic. But yeah, how are you doing today, Humpty?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be up here with y'all.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. And of course, we got Slava and Gary. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome. Looking forward to the conversation. Good to have you here, Humpty. Looking forward to discussing car culture out there by you in SoCal.
Yeah, I don't know if you were going to say Hampton, but I have had that on my Starbucks cup written once.
Hampton. Yeah. Do you go by Humpty in the real world?
I am Humpty everywhere.
Oh, really? Is that literally your name? I always assume when I hear somebody with an unusual name in the X or the Web3 space, I'm like, oh, it's a pseudonym. Like Rex isn't my real name, but a lot of people just know me as Rex.
Humpty is my name.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah.
No pseudonyms for you, sir.
Neither.
Humpty Calderon, wherever you can find me.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess that we can go ahead and jump into it. So, we've gotten a bit of a peek into who you are and what you do on previous live streams, but curious if you could just give us a little bit of your backstory so the audience knows who Humpty is.
Sure. I mean, I would say the best word for me is a tech enthusiast. I've been breaking shit and putting it back together since I was 8 or 9. I remember one of my first memories. This is honestly real. I took apart my dad's radio at about that age and just laid it all out in the living room floor. And Dad walked in, super chill, always has been. He's like, "All right, you gotta put that together, right?" And I did. So, I was always just like a little curious tinker kid, And then at about the age of 11, one of my neighbors got a computer, and then we went to the library and we picked up a couple of books and magazines on coding, and we started building our own viruses, as we thought, just very like kiddie scripts is really what it was. But we were so excited that we could build these things that could affect the real world, at such a young age. And so that curiosity kept growing, and, went to college, and that's what I studied, and built consultancies around, information technology, kind of early to 3D printing, VR and AR tech, and eventually found crypto, built my first business in 2017, sold that in 2020, have been tinkering in the space still. But now with, kind of the acceleration of AI, I'm interested in what can we build with things that are kind of at the intersection of crypto and AI. How we come together, though, I've been a car enthusiast just as long. I've always had an affinity for actually American hot rods was kind of where my love first started around the age of 13. I remember I was a founding member of the Hot Rod magazine club. I even got a cool front plate for a car that I didn't have when I was 16. And yeah, I mean, now I'm pretty involved in the LA car scene. I love to drive up through the canyons, Malibu, up through Angeles Crest, and just meet cool people.
Nice. And you drive a Porsche, right? I mean, I see the Porsche logo on your hat. I see the picture in the background. So, yeah, tell us about your car.
Yeah, so I drive a 2009 Carrera S, 911 C2S, and it's been a thrill. You know, I would say it's the generation of car that excites me because of the balance between analog and digital. If I had to choose, I'd probably go for a 964, but those things are outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
Not as bad as a 963 for anybody out there, or 993, excuse me, for anybody who's out there watching or listening. You know, that car has just gotten through the roof too. But, you know, with those water cooled cars, there's a lot of a lot of things that are left to be desired in terms of like what you can do with the vehicle. I think Porsche with the 996 and the 997 really kind of started adding much more of a digital component where, you know, I really would have a hard time spinning that car out. And not saying that I've tried, but I've definitely driven a little too enthusiastically at times up the canyon and lost the back a little bit, and within, you know, one or two whips back on track. So it's a great car to have for the 0 to 60 range, you know, and which is when you're driving the canyons a lot where you live.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I still do have an affinity for the air-cooled Porsches. That's where I would go, even though you're giving up a little bit in what you can do performance-wise. Of course, I like my more analog cars. You know, I drive a 97 Nissan, so that should say a lot. But yeah, I mean, those early water-cooled Porsches, they didn't get a lot of love, I feel like, until more recently. They're starting to pick up their value. Everybody wanted the round headlights one. I think yours is still the kind of the swoopy headlight model.
997s are all round headlights. 996 are the fried egg headlights, as they call it.
Fried egg, that's right. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a great car for the canyons in your area, but you have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. My buddy and I had just started a conversation about what can we do to kind of like feature this car a little bit more. So we're planning, still in the early planning stages. I can talk a little bit about what he's working on that I think relates to why he'd be interested in doing something like this with me. But we're planning on doing a photo shoot and bring out the drones to follow me going up the canyons, especially Angeles Crest, because I think it's a lot more interesting of a drive. And all of that to create a package to ask an owner of a 996 turbo to do a straight up trade. Because that's really where I want to go. Either I'm looking for a 996 turbo, a 996 GT3, and I actually would like a higher mileage car. So they would be getting into a lower mileage car with the 997 that I own. But the reason why I want a higher mileage car is I want to modify the heck out of it. And as anybody who owns a Porsche knows, modifying cars totally depreciates the value and it makes it harder for resale. So mine is stock for the most part, just lowered a little bit. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to like modify my car and make it a little bit more my own. So that's the pitch, is we're going to do a cool ass video and we're going to put it out there. And if anybody's interested, they'll have this car with some provenance. Who knows, maybe some provenance on chain as well. And then
hey, we can help you with that.
And then bring that to market. And like I said, for me, I'm not looking to sell, I'm looking to trade, and I'm looking for the best car of that era, 996 GT3 preferred, turbo, if not manual, so I can modify it and make it a canyon friendlier car.
Yeah. And so I also want to touch a little bit on your content creation, because you know you're just kind of explaining this video or series that you want to put together, whatever it happens to be. And so, can you tell us a little bit about your journey as a content creator?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my first memorable or more professional creator venture was 2013, I think. I'll have to look at my LinkedIn because I have it on there. I joined Tastemade, and at that point, it was a startup. If you look up Tastemade now, I mean, they at one point were the BuzzFeed of food. Tons of really great content, like any video of like how to make a margarita or the best guacamole, you probably landed on Tastemade. But when they first started, they were trying to be a video platform for foodies to rave, not review their favorite restaurants. And so this was kind of going against the Yelp kind of competitor, which was all about reviewing, right? And reviews aren't always the friendliest, sometimes can be downright nasty. So the value proposition of Tastemade was let's create a platform for foodies to record content. Templates are there to make it super easy to do so, and then give them distribution. And so I organized events in LA. In fact, that was how those are the first things I did with my now wife. That we dated and we were creating content together. So we have a cool connection to like the food scene that she's actually more connected to than me. I was more interested in the community organizing. I was more interested in like creating the content. I was more interested in creating partnerships with other creators so that we can kind of like rate our own channels and then expand our audience that way. That was more kind of like what I was excited about, whereas my wife, or now wife, then girlfriend, was more interested in just creating the content or like doing the video of the restaurants, going to the restaurants, finding the ones that were more interesting and probably less talked about restaurants. So we were doing our small part and kind of like adding some visibility to these really cool restaurants, mostly in the 626 or San Gabriel Valley, which is where we were, and kind of the restaurants that we were more familiar with. And yeah, so that was kind of like my entry point. Eventually, when I got into crypto, I realized that we needed better marketing, if you will, better storytelling for the things that we were doing. We needed to go away from like just the tech talk. And so I started my own podcast called Crypto Sapiens. And I mean, you know, some of the connecting story there. Rachel was one of the creators that I onboarded and gave her a platform for distribution. I created a accelerator incubator, if you will, for new creators to come in and create their first podcast, create their first newsletter. And I gave them then the distribution that I had built, over 600,000 downloads of our podcast at that time, which was kind of cool to be able to grow it to that point and say, you know what, let's see what we can do to kind of like spawn a new generation of creators. And so it continues.
Very cool. Yeah, I appreciate anybody who isn't just, out there creating content for themselves, but helping other people, like climb the ladder behind them. And, I think that's something that we very much resonate with here is it's not about gatekeeping people from, the culture that we love, but instead onboarding as many people as we can, getting people to be excited about the things that we love and giving them a platform to join in and become part of the community. So I think it's a really great story. And let's see, I forgot what the next thing I was going to ask you was. Why you take notes and prepare beforehand. Yeah, though for those that are watching, I was having tons of technical issues before we got started, so missed that opportunity. But yeah, so we got connected through Rachel, who helps us with media. She's one of our media partners. And yeah, I think we hit it off really quickly because we both love cars. We both love crypto. We're just getting started in the content creation space. So of course, somebody who's got some experience there is somebody I always want to talk to, since that's going to be a big part of what we're doing here. I'm kind of curious from your early perspective, coming into what we're doing here at Driven Labo, like, what is it that's resonated with you? And, what do you think about kind of like what we've accomplished so far?
Well, the first part is you're working with someone awesome, someone that I respect a lot, and that's Rachel. I think she's a good person on judging character. So for me, it's all about character, right? I mean, I haven't gotten to the age I have and the number of years in crypto without good character or being a good judge of it as well. So that was the first kind of signal that I was like, oh, these are cool guys. I saw the Ferrari. over at ETH Denver. I didn't really get to chat with y'all too much because I was hosting my own campaign during that time with Nouns DAO. But I immediately recognized kind of the synergy, the shared enthusiasm over automotive spaces. But when I got to jump onto some of the spaces with y'all and learn a little bit more and sign up to Driven Vehicles, I saw that you were doing something that I am extremely fond of and spend a lot of time thinking about and executing, and that is growing communities. And I think Driven Vehicles, as far as a map is concerned, is a wonderful platform for community gathering, community aggregation, and distribution of shared ideas. So I thought, wow, that's a really cool way of like translating the things that I do, but in a different form, right? So I, as a member, not as a member, but as a subscriber and as a account holder now there, I'm excited to build my own community on that platform through the events that I either host or the events that I attend, and inviting other members of the car community to also share that enthusiasm on the platform.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much going on in the LA area any given weekend. So having, somebody like you out there to help to bring people in, share what we're doing, is going to be extremely helpful. Plus, you already gave us some tips when you were looking through our platform for early on. And I do want to mention that we went ahead and we already implemented your feedback. So I'm sure you'll appreciate that fact. But go ahead and pull up the site right here. And so let me log out real quick and show you. But now when somebody goes to sign up for the site, all they do is put in a username, email, they verify their email, password, and boom, they're in. They've created their account. And then let me sign in. I'm going to have to do my verification code, so bear with me on this. It's part of the process to make sure your account is secure. And now once they're in, then they can go in and activate the boost system. So this is that Web3 component that is really kind of made as Web 2 or normie friendly as possible. So nobody really has to worry about whether it's like crypto or having ETH to pay gas fees or remembering their seed phrase or anything like that. They can go and activate their boost. It shows detected wallets. You might tell I'm a big crypto native because I have a bazillion crypto wallets. This won't show for most people. So you can either create a wallet using your email, or by connecting a social account, or by using the base account as our default. So I'll just sign in with my base account. Confirm, and boom, there we go. We can see that I've got my 1.5 million boost points up here. And that is how easy it is for people to get in and start using these Web3 features. So that was very much thanks in large part to you and the feedback that we got when we were just kind of catching up one day and, chatting with you about your experience on the site.
Thank you. I mean, again, that's one of the reasons why I love working with startups, is how quickly you can go from feedback to production. That change, I mean, I think I made that comment a week or two ago, and the fact that your developer and your team could come together and make sure that was a sufficiently challenging experience for the user, agreeing on change, and then your developer team being able to execute on that. I think that's really great. Yeah, I mean, look, having been in crypto almost 10 years, my anniversary is coming up next year. I realized that there is still a huge gap in making it super novice friendly. So any step that we can take to try to onboard people to an experience and give them a taste of something, and if that is sufficiently valuable to them, adding the friction point afterwards, and then trying to make that as easy and seamless as possible. I realize we don't have control over wallets, but to try to lower the threshold of these challenges that can come up with signing up with a wallet, and what is a non-custodial wallet, and what do you do with these tokens, and all this stuff that comes along with it, and how do I transfer this to a different computer? Oh, I have to sign in with the same wallet. Like all of these things add like a layer of difficulty. So bravo to your team for recognizing that and for changing that. I know for me, if I was signing people up it would be harder to get a confirmed registration if I knew that they got stuck at the login window. And for me, I mean, that was pretty much kind of where the friction point, even for someone who is a crypto native. So yeah, it looks great. Website, I think, is just excellent. You guys are doing a great job. You know, that map, I think it's growing. I see stuff in Europe. I'm going to be in Japan in about 2 weeks. So you can expect me to drop a few things here, I'm sure, hopefully before going into it. If not, while I'm there, take a couple photos and pin them around the world.
Awesome. Yeah, we would love to see some pins out there in Tokyo. That would be amazing. And of course, anything you discover in LA along the way. But I guess now's a good time for us to just do kind of a little bit of, shameless self-promotion on some of the latest updates that we have. So we now have, as you mentioned, the much improved login and sign-up flow. We have clubs, so people can go and organize their clubs through here. There's 2 different tiers that they can use, whether they want to just do a simple open social club that, is just kind of for your friend group, or if you want to monetize it, there's a plan that you can use to unlock all of the monetization features, which I will say are not there yet, but are coming very soon. We also have a vendors page. So now we can see different automotive vendors in our network. And this is available to people on the Pro plan, and a lot of opportunities that we're building for businesses to connect with their end customer and use promotions and various tools to build their footprint in the car culture. So that's that. We've got our plans, as you see here, currently doing 50% off the first 3 months for our early adopters that come in now. So if you want to put this app to use to, organize events, meetups, clubs, or get your business featured, you can get 50% off for the first 3 months directly right here. And we even have a new support system where people who are premium subscribers can submit tickets and get direct feedback that goes into a ticket system in their profile. So if you go here, obviously I don't have any tickets because I don't need to talk to support, but this is where you'd be able to see all your open tickets. So we made so much progress over the last couple of weeks. Got Garage, we've got our events and everything. You can see my events that I'm hosting. I'm not actually hosting all of these, I'm listing for others. Events I'm attending and a calendar view. So that's a really quick blast through all of our updates. I don't want to make this all about us, but we started talking about it. So I'm like, you know what? That's a good opportunity to show off all the cool things that we've done.
Looks great. Also, don't forget to, share the stream, retweet, likes. Those all help. Get it out there. Lowest friction way of you supporting this channel.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks. That's usually we do that at the beginning, but we just jumped right into the conversation. So as Humpty said, if you're tuning in with us right now, please do share this live stream. And we'd love to get some more audience in here. And of course, if you have any questions at any point along the way, that's why we make this thing live, so we can get interactions from the audience. Please do drop it in the comment section on X, or if you're watching on Twitch, you can drop a comment there and we'll see it and answer your questions live. So
it's on fire. Rachel's on there. She's bringing in these. She always does.
Oh yeah, got Rachel hanging out with us. So let's see. I want to kick it over to either Iron Maiden or Slava. I want to see if you have any questions for Humpty. You are muted.
Thanks, Philip, for resharing the stream. I love how on X now it shows you when they repost the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess he's having some mic issues. So I have a question. I just wanted to ask. He mentioned he's driving a Porsche. I wanted to
Porsche.
know. Yeah, Porsche.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I had to do it. Learn how the Porsche snobs out there.
Porsche, yeah. You guys, if we could see if we have either a photo or like something where we can see the car.
Humpty0x on Instagram. I post a lot.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I got you on that. I've already got your Instagram pulled up.
Can you guys hear me now? Am I back?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, hey,
Here we go.
and then the whole time I thought you guys are ignoring me. I'm like, oh, but
All
I
right.
was going to mention that Humpty, you can add your Porsche to your garage now. We'd love to see it there.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mhm.
heck yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. I'll just show you that real quick. So when you go to your account, you can go to your garage and you can add your car to your garage right there.
Yeah. Be awesome.
Oh, heck yeah. Wait, so is it like a avatar or actual photos of my car?
Your photo.
So it is,
Okay.
it's a photo. Yeah. So right now it's a really simple listing because we're going to be building out a lot more features around the cars that are in your garage. So at this point, it's just to show what you have. So maybe when you go to join a club and you request to join it, the organizer of the club can be like, all right, well, let's see what they drive. Oh, this is cool. All right, this looks like a good person. Let's bring them in, right? So but we're going to be building out a lot more features around the cars that you have listed on the site.
Sweet. Whose cute doggy is that? Someone wants to go outside.
Oh, yeah, that's my dog. She hears me talking and she's like, I want to join. I want to play.
Cute.
But okay, is yours the black one or the yellow?
The black Porsche. I don't know. Let me see. Let me look to see what the latest one that I featured it in. I know I'd normally put it in my stories. I just kind of
Oh, here.
record shorts everywhere. But there's one of me in the canyons at the bottom. That would be Mulholland Drive. Let's see if I can show the camera.
Right here. Oh, no, I don't think that's you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I see the butt. Yeah.
That picture right there. Yeah, that's one. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's actually probably the
Nice.
best. Yeah, and that one right there with the rear tail. Oh, previously. That was me parked on the side of, the next one over to the right. Yep, that one. So the previous one you had, that was me parked on the side of Angeles Crest, and obviously there's just a bunch of supercars coming through. So I just sit there, and that day I was snapping photos. I wasn't doing video. And then this is me at the top of the snake on Mulholland Drive after maybe 3 laps going up.
Which one? This one here?
I know the one you had open just moments ago. Yeah.
Oh, right here.
Yep. That one right there. That's me at the
Gotcha.
top of the snake, Mulholland Highway. And yeah, that was actually, so the Porsche all the way at the bottom, which is, I believe, a G body, or if not a Super Carrera or Porsche SE, is actually owned by, what's his name? The Canyon Carver on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I follow him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's him down there, and he was chatting to someone else, and behind them there was a YouTuber. So a bunch of car creators come up this mountain as well, and they create content. I think the Miata might have been another creator as well.
Nice. All right. Well, definitely make sure you go give Humpty a follow over on Instagram and of course on X. It's at Humpty0x. So let's get him some extra followers over there.
Yeah. Can they follow me on driven vehicles? Is there like a new function?
That is
Not yet. We're in the process of building that out.
Yeah. You're starting us off early. No, it's definitely something that people want to do.
Coming on the
Yeah, exactly. I was just commenting like when people are like, "Oh, Justin's cooking." I'm like, "Yes, he is. I hope he doesn't hate me yet." Because it's like nonstop, like these features and those features, and here's some feedback. And yeah, but I'm glad we're able to come together as a team and decide, priorities wise and address it properly, to your point that you made earlier too.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely following and liking is something that people have been asking about. With like being able to follow others that, like, let's say go to the same event and you see them at the going tab, and you want to see, what car do they drive, and maybe I want to link up with them as well. So yeah, we're definitely looking into the social features next. And then
alerts, hey, you have an app, you have people's emails, like right before the weekend hits, is like, hey, don't miss these events happening in your city Saturday and Sunday. Boom, I know what to do. Because I'll tell you right now, the way that I discover that right now is Instagram. And sometimes if I don't save them, if I don't bookmark them, they're gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, where was I supposed to go? So
I do the same exact thing.
yeah.
Whereas like if it comes to email, my agent, not everybody does this because we're not all huge nerds with like, sleeping problems, but my agent's out there like mining my emails and calendaring stuff for me as well. It's like, hey, this is happening, you might be interested. Boom, let me put it on your calendar.
That's awesome.
Coming soon from Driven Vehicles. You hear that, Justin? We need agents that are populating calendars.
Yeah. So on that note, yeah, we're talking about in the social feed, having it take, events that are happening in your area and making sure that you see it. So it's, anytime a new event, whether or not you follow anybody who's associated with it, you're getting regional, like local specific content. Because the idea of the app isn't to be another, Instagram clone where you're just sitting there doom scrolling, look at other people's builds all day, but instead it's to facilitate these IRL connections, community, and all of that, the event side of things. So, and then from there, using our newsletter to do like regional digests. So there would be like an LA one. And since you are in the LA area, you'd get signed up for that. And then you'll get a weekly newsletter that outlines all of the events and everything that's going on in your local area. So yeah, definitely right there with you on that.
That's the original For You page, right? Like segmentation is the original filter for things that are interesting to you. So you've already got that data, put it to work.
Yep, absolutely.
And to your point with like the agent stuff, I mean, eventually opening up kind of like an API 402 thing for people with agents to be able to come and look at what events are available. Because then like if you don't want to sign up, but you want access to the data, like you can pay a couple of cents to just see what events are in your local area. So that's something we can definitely open up in the future.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm seeing people use agents more and more. So to your point, like I think we're all nerdy enough in here.
And I think the tools are being developed where it's going to make it super simple for everybody to have, and we won't call them agent, but like personal assistants, right? That are going to be able to do all this work on our behalf. Look, AI comes in many flavors. It's a tool at the end of the day, and it's about using those tools in a way that is most efficient and beneficial to us. And personal assistance, I think, is low-hanging fruit. And I've already seen a few. I've built my own just because, again, I fell deep in the rabbit hole late last year and into this year, building with, Claude Code and now with Codex. So yeah, it's pretty fun to kind of see the depths of, I guess, utility that you can get from AI.
Yeah, we've got, at risk of opening up another can of alpha worms here, we do have a lot in our roadmap to incorporate agents into our platform, but I'll just leave it there. Otherwise, if we're going to talk for another 30 minutes about that alone.
Now let's talk about what's happening in our cities. I can tell you, I was talking about like last week, or a lot of car stuff happens in LA. This weekend, I actually introduced my neighbor for the first time to one of my favorite car events. It's the Cars and Coffee event that happens at Griffith Park the last Sunday of every month. And it's just a huge like mix of vehicles, from imports to American hot rods, builds, crazy builds. My short story or my reel is on Instagram right now with my experience there. And then we were invited to this other event that was happening in Eagle Rock, and it was in remembrance of a car community member who passed, and it was a fundraiser. And so it's a restaurant that has really great food, and all the sales, went to fundraising for his family. And I thought that was a really cool way of like bringing that community together, but also connecting that story outside of the people who are already there. In this case, bringing his family and having them feel seen and respected also in this difficult time. So that was a pretty cool event, and I got to meet the founder of this cool brand called Machina Car Club, I think it's called, something like that. And I bought a cool shirt. If it's a cool shirt, I'm probably going to buy it like this too.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to send you one of our cool shirts here soon.
Still waiting on that hat. I could have been wearing that today.
Oh, yeah.
We love our
I'll get on it. I promise.
Do you want to pull up that event actually? And we could probably add it to do they have a website or something like that where we can see it?
They don't have a website. The only thing I can think of that they have is an Instagram, but they do not publish anything. They just repost. It's called Cars and Coffee Los Angeles, I think. Hang on.
Oh, they do have a website, but it's outdated.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I found Cars and Coffee Los Angeles right here.
Yep, that's it. So Cars and Coffee Los Angeles is the page, yep, for all of the events that are happening there. But for the most part, I see them just reposting on their story. I actually tagged them as a collaborator on my video and they didn't accept it. So, but they did share it on their story. So, I did get some visibility through that. It's interesting though, the collaboration part for Instagram is actually a great amplifier for distribution. The other story, the other reel that I created was I tagged Oyster, which is a restaurant, and Machina, and they both accepted the invitation. And because of that, it's actually growing quite rapidly in terms of its viewership, more than the Cars and Coffee one, though I thought the Cars and Coffee one was probably more interesting.
And then you're looking at starting up your own event as well, right? Is it a club and event or just an event?
So at the time, like right now, so far, I'm thinking of it more of as an event in collaboration with clubs and other venues, brands, probably better said, and creators. So my job really when I go to all these events is I'm connecting with the creators that I see doing some really interesting stuff with their cameras. I introduce myself. I tell them what I do, what I'll be doing in LA. They seem very excited. I'm basically trying to create and I always mispronounce this, so, similar to the Porsche mispronunciation, Luftgekühlt. That is the car culture event in the US that features Porsches in more of an artistic light. They recently did one in Japan, in Tokyo. They took over one of the main highways down there. They brought up all the Porsches. We have a really cool spot, and I'm willing to share it because if somebody wants to front run me and do it, go for it. But so far, I'm making the connections with the brands and the venues, the creators, to take over one of the coolest bridges we have, which is the 6th Street Bridge, and put up platforms and put up Porsches up there in an artistic way, and creators come and do some cool content around that and do some collaborations with some of the brands that I'm working on.
It gave me a thought. 6th Street Bridge, I'm seeing if this is the one that I'm
Yep, the
thinking
one
of.
with the arches.
Yeah. So are you familiar with the YouTube channel Big Time?
Yeah, they're based out of that little.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be cool to connect with them because they've got a huge community and they're literally right there. You could throw a stone off of the bridge and hit their garage door. So
So I'm there at the car district several times a week, and I'm very well connected to that whole community and brands who are based out of there. So Big Time is definitely one of those group of folks that I'm aware of and talking to about collaborating on this. So if you search Luft, L-U-F-T Tokyo, you'll see Luftgekühlt and what they just recently did in Tokyo. I can share the link here so you guys can share it more broadly. I'll share it in the private chat.
Thanks.
So I think that went through. lufttokyo.com.
is this the one right here? Oh, Luft Tokyo.
So that's kind of the I guess cultural lens that I want to take on when we do our event at the 6th Street Bridge. So let me see, what's the best and probably most compelling images and maybe even story that people can read up on. I think let's just go to the architect. Go to the architect's website, and I think they have some cool photography. But yeah, this is cool.
They also have an Instagram page with a bunch of this footage. Sure, I'll share that as well.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this more as a brand experience powered by creators, where we can tell really cool stories with cars as the centerpiece to it all.
Nice.
Hopefully someone wrote my narrative there so they can repeat it back to me later when I'm pitching.
Well, we've got this whole thing recorded, so you can always watch it back. Are you familiar with Race Service out of LA? I have some connections there that Oh, okay. Yeah, I do have some connections there. One of my best friends who I mentioned drives that Lotus. He does some projects with them. So, maybe there's a way to get you involved with race service as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's see, go to Race Services Instagram. I know I saved, this is it, Friday at 9 a.m. I'll be there. So I'll add this to the calendar. If you go to the Instagram race service, this Friday, 9 a.m., come say hi. I'll be there having coffee. It's called the Rise and Shine event. And I actually wanted to go last time. They do some cool merch drops. And again, I'm obsessed over buying cool shirts. I don't really invest.
Yeah, their merch is awesome.
Out of it, but yeah, I'm going there to try to see if I can find a cool shirt to wear at other events, because it's always nerdy if you wear the event or the shirt or the merch of the event that you're going to. You always wear someone else's, right, and bring that story so that you can kind of connect the story between the different car enthusiast communities. So I do want one of theirs so I could wear it somewhere else.
Yeah. All right. Well, Rachel says, send me the deets. So we'll make sure that you get the details for that. And maybe you guys go meet up at race service. That place is.
No, I'll put it on the Driven Vehicles website. And then, Rachel, you can RSVP through there if you can RSVP already.
Yeah, you definitely can. Yeah, you can add pictures and comments and whatever else into the event page as well.
Sweet.
So looking forward to it.
Oh, merch Jedi. That's hilarious.
All right. Yeah. So one of the things we tend to do during our podcast with our guests is we do a quick little blast through our newsletter. It's a big part of, the content that we put out every single week. So I just wanted to show off our newsletter right now. We are going on about 43 minutes, so I won't spend too much time on this. And then I wanted to ask you about both you and Gary, aka Iron Maiden, are located in California. So there's an interesting thing that may be a new law that may be passing in California. I want to get your take on. But so the last issue of the Daily Driven newsletter came out last Saturday, was episode issue 123. And we always like to feature a really cool car that is, either going to auction or available through our partners dealership over at Rev Hard Motors. So this week we featured the Celine S7 and found this amazing specimen of an S7 that was available through Cars and Coffee. Bring a trailer of all places. You can find some crazy cars on there, to be honest. And yeah, this is it was interesting because when I made this draft, shared it with Gary, he's into cars, maybe not to the same level as us, and he had never seen the S7 before. It is a really unique, really rare car. And for those of you who have gotten the chance to actually see one in real life, these things are absurd. I was actually lucky enough to sit in one at one point, like maybe 15 years ago or so. My dad was the vice president of Celine, and I was working at a company that was doing like media technology. So we were building a digital magazine for them that combined, it was kind of like a multimedia, like felt like a magazine, but had video incorporated into it. We did some drone footage, and this was back, earlier days of drones. We got this massive 8-rotor, like Hollywood film used, what do you call it, drone to chase this thing down the like back roads in the Inland Empire. And I actually got to sit in it. And I do have to say, it was probably the most uncomfortable car I've ever sat in my life. But when you get something like this, that's, there's like one of, how many of these? I think I have it here in the article. There's only 70 to 80 of these cars ever built. Yeah, I think you can deal with a little bit of pain, a little bit of back pain. So yeah, I wanted to share my personal experience with the Celine F7. It is an insane car and is the featured car in this issue. And then, of course, we always cover the top motorsports news of the day, some automotive or racing video games, sim racing, We have our automotive Web3 section, and then something that's going on in the culture. And I'm sure many of you have heard about the untimely passing of Kyle Busch, one of the biggest NASCAR legends of all time. So we have a little homage to him here in the culture section of our newsletter. So if this is interesting to you, if you're not already subscribed, please do go to drivenculture.xyz and subscribe to the newsletter. And if you are subscribed, we'd really appreciate it if you share this with your fellow automotive enthusiasts, friends, and family. That would be very much appreciated. So that's our little
I have a bug on your website
blast through here.
because I just tried subscribing and I got a forbidden error.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, we'll check that out here after we're done. But hey, look at you always coming through and testing things and finding where they break.
I'm telling you, my job is to break things. That's all we didn't want to together doing.
And be like, now put it back together. Like,
Yeah.
Which link are you clicking? Are you clicking the link in the chat?
How about all the way to the bottom of your website, and there's a subscribe.
I know what you're talking about. You are going, come on. You're going here, right?
.xyz, all the way at the bottom. Yep, right there.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah. We discovered there's a bit of an issue. We're going to have to update that, but thanks for bringing that to our attention. If you go to Driven Culture,
Subscribing.
yeah, if you go to drivenculture.xyz, this is the
the link with
URL.
and you can see the chat. There's a link there that we drop. You can download it directly there.
Okay. No, I got the Driven Culture website.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Not intuitive. I will say.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Well,
That's a great platform
Yep.
to build a newsletter.
yeah. We were talking about this last time we spoke about even doing a little bit of cross promotion. So I'll make sure that we get your newsletter suggested to our followers as well.
Sweet. Yeah, go check it out. theonchaincreator.com. Actually, I just published a newsletter this morning. I was working on it over the weekend. And what I do is I have I whatever comes into my feed that I think is interesting, that is relevant to kind of like the things that I build with creators, creator and tech. I aggregate that. I share my opinion, insights, and then I propose a tool of the week where if you think that whatever I was talking about throughout that newsletter is interesting, you want to give it a try, you can do so with one of those tools that I share. And then I share a couple of like tidbits of things that I found that was interesting, trending, like Anthropic going public with a IPO soon. And then call to action. Follow me on X. Let's talk about it.
Very cool. Well, we'll be sure to suggest your newsletter to our followers because, yeah, you put out some really great content.
Thanks. Yeah, I definitely moved everything from the previous platform where I was to Beehive earlier this year and just started to publish there. So, yeah, I'm seeing really good retention and growth. So it's just a matter of collaboration and referrals, which is the next thing I'm turning on.
Nice. Yeah. Rachel says, I actually love reading these. The Clipper one is great. I assume she's referring to, hide that, to this one right here. So, yep. Cool.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one in terms of like clipping this long form content into short form content for added distribution. I think that's definitely where it's at. We see that being a go-to-market strategy for media companies now as well.
Yeah, and interesting that we're touching on this because I think later today, maybe tomorrow, we're going to be announcing a Clipper program where anybody in our community can take our long-form content, submit their clips, and then we'll award the best clips every week. So each week there will be an opportunity to win Buster tokens by helping to clip our content. So keep an eye out for that announcement. Should be coming in the next day or so.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's where it's at, building your own Clipper community for sure. I know Rachel got something like that in her channel, so it would be cool to share that in that Telegram if it's allowed as well, to bring some of those folks over.
Most definitely. I mean, we're part of the on-chain media family, so I'm sure she wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I love that channel. I do pop in. Sometimes it's a little too active for my old taste because I'm like, oh my God, I can't keep up with this feed. But it's cool. It's cool to see the energy of the people who are there.
Definitely. All right, time to touch on a little bit of California news. And this is something that as we were getting started and Humpty came in, I was talking with Gary about it. And then he's like, wait, what was that you're talking about? So I wanted to make sure we brought it up right now. This is something that is really a big, let's say, could be a big deal in the car scene, particularly if you are in the state of California. And that is a new law that is being proposed. I don't know where it is in the legislation process, but they are looking at mandating specific types of tires. So Californians can only buy specific models of tires which are designed for improved, or I should say more efficient rolling resistance, all in an effort to minimize emissions. And I think on the surface, yeah, that sounds like maybe a noble cause. But when you really dig into it, you see that this is like a lot of government regulation has potentially more unintended consequences than what they are looking to achieve. And this article I found actually goes into it pretty well about, there's the what they're trying to achieve, but the fact that it's actually going to make the grip of the tires a lot worse. The performance overall is going to suffer. Certain vehicles, like let's say if you need an all-weather tire or you need an off-roading tire, will not pass. They simply cannot meet this requirement with specialty tires. And it's going to make it so you have to change your tires on average twice as much. In some cases, people have tested, I've seen up to 3 times as many. So whereas you would be changing your tires maybe every 60-ish thousand miles, you may be changing your tires up every 20 to 27,000 miles now. So the offset doesn't make sense to me. It's, yeah, you're, helping with one piece of that issue you're trying to solve, but the manufacturing and the, let's say, the carbon footprint behind manufacturing these tires is going to require you to buy 2 to 3 times more tires. And I don't think that's going to offset what they're ultimately trying to do. So I think this is a really, how should I say, misguided regulation and is only going to hurt the automotive culture in California. Curious to get your take.
So it's funny. I just found the website that you're reading, and the photo that's at the, what is it? Probably the first photo with the article, the e-primacy. That's the tires I got on my Tesla. So I have a Tesla. My wife drives that. It's the family car. And I was wondering why I couldn't buy my normal tire this last time around. It's already bad enough. The Teslas are super heavy cars, and with the acceleration that they have, tire wear is not great. But these definitely have short lifespans. Like, I think I was told it's going to be like a 2-year cycle. Tires for Teslas, for anybody who knows or has these, they're not cheap. You're looking at about like $350 a pop. So, all in, you have like $1,300 worth of expenses just to get a new set of tires. I think it's dumb. Less so for the kind of poor construction, but the bigger point is the environmental impact. Where's all this trash going to go? We're creating more trash, like electric vehicles, which, I've got one. We don't know what the lifespan of these batteries is going to be, right? And that was kind of like initially proposed as a fix for the pollution that we currently have with gas-powered vehicles. But at the end of the day, where do these batteries go when they die? Right? Same thing's going to be here. What's going to happen with all these tires, all this rubber? Do we have a system in place for recycling this rubber, for putting it back into market? Right? I don't think this is going to pass. If it has, shame on California. If it hasn't, why did I buy these tires on my Tesla? I don't know, but this is literally the only option I have.
I think they're going to
Yeah.
get it passed anyway because they're just at this point too big to get a no from the movements that they're doing. But the one line that kind of really stuck out to me was like, This helps automakers hit their emission standard. The automakers. So why does the buyer or the client now have to suffer for the automakers to hit their emissions in the state? Like that should be offset to the manufacturer themselves. That should never be a concern that's passed down to you as now the consumer to change your tires or be told which tires can and can't go on your vehicle. It's kind of insane to me that they're even reaching that far into like what you can put on your car at this point. How often do you change your tires now on the Tesla?
So I've only owned it for 5 years. The first time was 3 years. This last set was 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
And I was told that these would probably be around the same. The scary thing is I was driving with these wheels. I had a rotation do and balance. And when I took it in, they're like, buddy, your wires are showing on all 4 tires. And again, this is my family car. Like I got incredibly scared and frustrated, borderline pissed off because I was like,
what does that mean? Where were they showing and how? Because I'm not.
inner tread.
Okay.
All 4 tires.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not like this is an acceleration thing because the front tires were equally as worn.
Wow. And in California, you don't icy weather as much, but still.
Well, we get hot weather where the rubber just melts off the tires.
That's true.
Yeah. The other thing too is a lot of this style of tires that you see on electric cars, and if they're using this as like the model for all of the other cars or all the other tires that people are going to be mandated to purchase and install, they actually cause more road wear than your average tire. So now you also have the additional infrastructure upkeep. You've got, like lane closures. You've got to hire the crews. You've got the, all of the logistics of fixing these potholes or these pitted roads. So, ultimately I think that the consequence is going to be like 10 times worse than the cure, what I'm saying here. And Rachel even said, let me see if I can find that. Yeah, she was mentioning that she heard that they want to tax per mile. Mm-hmm. And that is something that I've heard about. I don't know the law that they're actually trying to pass, but I do believe that there is. Okay. Yeah, we could take a look at that as well. Ultimately, I think this is just a move. Let me put my tinfoil hat on. I think it's a move to get people away from car ownership and to more of a rental model where it's nothing but robo taxis, and you never own a car, you rent it for the time you need it, which maybe makes sense in a city. And, that's not something I think should be mandated. I think it maybe is like, if it's convenient, then go for it. But, this is the US. This is, land of the free. I want to be able to own my car and drive it as far as I want, whenever I want.
Yeah, I shared the article. Check it out. But that all ties down to this idea that we're getting to an economic imbalance here in the US where we are being forced to not own anything. If you've got a house now, hang on to that thing because it's going to get harder and harder to own a home, right? They're trying to get you to rent everything and just kind of be wholly dependent on institutions for, institutional enterprises for the things that you can do and how you mobilize, which is actually part of our freedoms, is to be able to like move across the country and anywhere we want to move. Yep. And so not being able to own our homes, not being able to own our vehicles, kind of restricts that freedom. So no, definitely fight against it. I shared that article, but yeah, for the electric vehicle that came into my radar because of that, because they're not taxing us on gas, so they're trying to tax us on mileage on these cars now.
Yeah, because they can't. Yeah, actually,
well, they are taxing gas, but I don't think they want to tax more on gas because what is it, like $7 a gallon out there where you're at?
It's really bad. I mean, I think the last time I fueled up was about 2-3 weeks ago, and the car just, if I'm not running it often for that reason because it's over $100 now for a Porsche.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and if it's and now we're gonna have E15 is this new standard, which means your fuel economy is going to go down.
Yep.
Yeah.
15. So I mean, 15% other liquids other than gas.
Yeah,
That's
ethanol.
horrible.
Yeah, 15% ethanol.
10% was already bad.
Yep.
And like, what is the actual efficiency on gas? Like what, 12, 20%? I think it's actually higher. I think it's like 30 or 40%. But gas is more efficient as like a joule producer than electricity
Yeah.
as well. So I feel like we're still going to keep coming back to gas just because we need the power. And honestly, we just don't have enough lithium to be mining all of this, or enough hands
Nope.
to do. But like,
or energy storage or logistics to get the electricity out across the grid. Yeah.
yeah, but honestly, like one of the unforeseen effects that I think also EVs had on America and like just our culture and how things are the way they are here is we are a country that's like built on highways, like transport dictated business here. And if a car could get to your town, then your town was alive. But now what happened was like if you don't have an EV charging station in your town is dead because no one can travel into it, right? Or travel to it. So it's like if you can now dictate where people and how people travel because of where they're able to charge themselves or how often they're able to charge. So it's like if I want to create a certain path for just EV people, I set up all the charging stations only in that area, and the other areas of the country just die because they don't have people anymore. And that's really like an unforeseen, I think, problem that's happening now, where it's like you can't get across the country in an EV. I think it was Rachel that mentioned that to me last we spoke.
It's funny because when I go to Vegas, Barstow definitely takes all my money. That's kind of the destination between LA and Vegas. Yeah. Stop there, recharge it, to like 90%, grab food, maybe do a little shopping.
That's where Rachel stopped too. Exactly. Yeah. So they're dictating exactly where you stop and how you stop and where you spend your money, and you're not spending it anywhere else. Yeah, I think that was one of the unforeseen kind of things that are happening.
Yeah, I think, was this in California? Pull this article up. So I'm sure you heard this story about they budgeted $7.5 billion for EV chargers, and that got 8 chargers in 2.5 years. $7.5 billion to build 8 chargers.
And we talk about meme coins being a scam. Come on.
You don't take 7.2 billion for 8.
Fartcoin did better numbers than that.
Yeah, right. And people got a lot more out of it, I'm sure. Oh man. All right. Well, yeah, this is another area where I could go on a very deep tangent when it comes to overregulation and government inefficiency. So I think we can leave it there on that. But yeah, this has been a really fun conversation. Thank you so much, Humpty, for coming by and giving us a chance to learn a little bit more about who you are, what you do for the car culture, for the crypto culture, and everything in between. And next time I'm out in California, I'm definitely going to have to get some of my car buddies together. We're going to go drive Mulholland together.
Absolutely. Let's do it. I'll show you some of the spots here, some of the meets as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, looking forward to seeing some of those meets you're referencing in the Driven Vehicles website. So yeah, and if you haven't already, we'll make sure we get you a code so you can get the premium account and get you in there to start filling it out.
Yeah, I think you should be already on the premium tier, so you should be good to go.
Okay, cool. And then anybody else who is looking to get in and join the culture, definitely go to drivenvehicles.xyz. You can see the current plans right now. We are doing 50% off the first 3 months. And, if you're somebody who you feel like you could bring a lot of value to the platform, we'd love to talk to you and get you like an even better rate. So that way, there's nothing stopping you from getting out there and contributing to the platform and building your local car scene. So, all right, guys. Well, any final words before we call it a day here?
Yeah, did you want to drop that event that you'll be at again, Humpty, just to remind people one more time as a closing little call to action?
Yeah, sure. I'll be at Rise and Shine on Friday morning, Friday, June 5th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Go look for it on Driven Vehicles. I'm going to put it up there immediately following this call so you can RSVP and follow me there.
Awesome. And Humpty, while we were doing that, I increase your tier to the organizer role in case you want to start up that club. You can start up a club this way too, so it's not just pinning.
Cool. Yeah.
That you want
I have to connect my wallet too,
together.
so that I can start earning Buster as well.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, it's a great episode, great conversation. Gary, any final words from our comment reviewer? Anything that came across to your?
Well, first of all, thank you, Humpty, for joining us. Appreciate you, hopping in, and it's great to have always a guest and show us what they're driving and and also sharing their passion about cars and as well as Web3. Appreciate that, and at the same time, thanks for that correction. At a moment where you guys kept saying the Porsche, I kept thinking that I don't know if you guys seen 2.5 Men. There's that scene where he gets corrected. So I just thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, they're right. So
Now you have no excuse.
I have no excuse. Correct. Yeah. Also, right now I dropped all the links for everyone to follow. I dropped, his Instagram page, Humpty's Instagram page. I dropped a vehicle site, and also make sure to subscribe to our newsletter to the Driven Culture XYZ. So with that, I appreciate it, Humpty, for joining us. Rex, thanks, and Slava. That was great to be here. Great episode, and thanks to everybody. The chat was active, so it's amazing that we have this amount of activity and ready for next week. And also, don't forget, on Fridays we have our Build a Burnout at 2 p.m. ET, which is
3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see you there, and then we'll be back next week for another episode of the Money Shift podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the Driven Culture newsletter at drivenculture.xyz, and that will do it for this week. So cheers! Thanks for hanging out. Oh, hold on. Go for it.
I forgot to mention, we had so much other exciting things going on. We are having a race weekend this weekend. So if you're watching Monaco, if you watch F1, please tune in. And if you're a Buster holder, join the watch party. I'll be streaming it, and we'll be hosting it in our Discord. So I don't want to watch alone. Come join us.
Any bets? Who's going to win?
Yeah, so we can do that in the Discord too. There's a pick'em game, and you can choose first, second, third, who you think will qualify first, fastest lap, and then 10th place, I think, as well.
Do you guys have a league on the F1 app? I can bring my teams over.
Oh, I've tried to do the fantasy league so much, and I always forget. If I forget for 2 races, I'm like, that's it. I'm out. I can't keep up with everybody else. So I'm so bad about it.
I haven't changed my team for 2 races, not because I forgot, because I just feel like there's so much flux right now, so much uncertainty. Even my team that was outscoring everyone right now, our last weekend, totally crashed out because George Russell was my driver on that one, and he went out. So that totally ruined my standings. I went from 1st to 4th like that quickly.
Safer bets on Antonelli.
Yeah. What do you think about Russell? You think he's going to stay with Mercedes, or
Russell?
No, we're going to do this for another hour now.
I think Russell doesn't really have a better prospect.
Oh no, I'm just thinking. Do you think Mercedes going to kick him out soon? It's more my question.
I don't think they will. I think if they're both content with being number 1 drivers, kind of like how McLaren treats them, he'll be fine. But the ironic part is I think Red Bull's coming after Piastri.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have heard the same. Yeah, a lot of interesting rumors
coming. Russell at Red Bull.
Yeah.
You said it would be interesting to see Russell and Piastri at Red Bull. I don't know if that would ever happen. Like, unless Max is going to leave for his Max Verstappen team and do GT3 racing nonstop now, I don't think he's leaving Red Bull, to be honest.
I don't think it'll happen either. I just think that would be an interesting mix of 2 drivers because they're very distinct styles. I think Piastri's definitely got more Max than Russell does in terms of being able to match his pace. But I don't know, man. I'd love to see Verstappen give a big middle finger to F1 and leave. We saw the gravitas that the guy has. Like, at the beginning of the year, when I saw where Formula One was going, I started to look at other series to follow, and I was already following GT. And when he showed up, man, oh man, the YouTube streams, the comments are on fire. It went from couple hundred comments to several thousand comments in a race. So, the guy can go anywhere. He's obviously building his own teams, Verstappen.com racing. So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's a smart kid.
Yeah. And hey, when F1 goes back to the V8s, he could always come back. I'm sure any team would be happy to have him.
But you see the news? Hamilton's dad is actually proposing a new series called V10 Racing. And
I'm waiting. I really think that it's like now the drivers make enough money for them to be like, all right, we're going to start our own. Like,
100%.
eventually. So like, yes, before they were getting like nothing crumbs. Now they're actual superstars. So I think they can definitely throw some.
Oh, yeah. His dad's getting investment from his son to start this. And for the way I see it, this is an acquisition play. I've been in the startup game way too long to not know what this is.
Yeah, you're right.
His dad is basically saying, I'm going to start a new series. I'm going to generate the excitement. I'm going to create the prototypes. I'm going to get the investors. And then Formula One is like, wait, what are you building over that over there for? Come here. We'll give you a place in the F1 leadership. And then we'll move forward with the V10 racing because you, by the way, did the job of like bringing the customers to your platform so that we can then validate to our customers, which is all the manufacturers, why we need to move away from V6 hybrids, which is why all this money is getting invested into Formula One anyways. They can't make that decision themselves. They need the decision to come from the outside. So this is an acquisition play. I say we're going to see Hamilton, dad for sure, maybe son, in for F1 leadership. Ben Afolayan can go somewhere else. I don't like it.
Yeah, trying to retire soon. So I think he's
Yeah.
might be doing that with his father then.
100%.
Yeah. All right, thanks. We can
Well,
definitely continue doing this again.
I'll get the poly market on that pretty soon.
Awesome.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have plenty more conversation like this during our watch party this weekend. So we're going to be streaming every session from practice, quali, all the way through the race. So come hang out with us starting Friday. And yeah, we'll talk F1 and anything else that comes up.
We're switching
Oh,
hands.
there we go.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right, thanks.
Have a good one.